We have Dr. Matt Jordan. We're so delighted to have him here. Dr. Jordan is an assistant professor in the Faculty of Kinesiology at the University of Calgary, where he co-leads the Integrative Neuromuscular Sport Performance Lab. His research focuses on neuromuscular adaptations to strength training, so it'll piggyback nicely on what you just heard about here, and strategies to prevent traumatic knee injuries. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Jordan as he shares his research and insights on the science behind maintaining healthy muscles at every age.
All right, it's just a real pleasure to be here this morning. Thanks, Lee, for teeing this up. It's going to be a perfect segue, I hope. For the better part of my career, I've been about all things muscle strength and power, working with athletes, individuals after knee injury. But today I want to build on Lee's talk and talk a little bit about what our muscle health does for our functionality. So again, I'm going to ask a question similar to Lee, is to imagine what your independence looks like. What does your independence look like when you're in your 80s? What does your independence look like when you're going through the menopausal transition? Are you playing with your grandkids? Are you out back playing basketball? Are you able to stay in your house? Are you able to walk to the grocery store? These are all fundamental questions that I think lots of us have. Recently, you probably went to your doctor. They checked your blood pressure. They checked your cholesterol. But when was the last time you had your mechanical biomarkers checked? Now, mechanical biomarkers are intimately connected to our health and to healthy aging. And today I want to talk about muscle power. Muscle power, you probably think about it as something that's only for the athletes, but I hope today that I can make a good argument that it's actually even more important for our longevity. The important thing to say about muscle power is that this is about your strength and your speed. So when we put our strength and our speed together, like let's say doing a vertical jump, that's our muscle power. Now, you may be surprised to know that muscle power is increasingly on the radar in terms of our health and our longevity. And I'm not only talking about our mortality. In fact, our muscle power is connected to our mortality. But it's also intimately connected to living better years. In fact, when we look at studies that have evaluated the things that predict us living in our environments, staying in our houses, walking to the grocery store, playing with our kids, having that independence, muscle power is an independent predictor of our functional status. So muscle power is more than just for the athletes. Muscle power is something that actually predicts our independence across the lifespan. But here's the thing. Very similar to what's happening with bones in postmenopausal women, all humans begin losing their muscle power in their 40s, and we're losing muscle power 2 times faster than our strength. And this is what it means, is that by the time we get into our 80s, our 90s, we may not have sufficient muscle power to get up out of a chair, walk a flight of stairs, make it across the road as that hand starts flashing, right? And most alarmingly is that this is related to frailty and falls. And so a fall becomes this traumatic event. And after a fall, not only are we at risk for hospitalization and all the things that come after that, but it's something that leads to a loss of independence. And this is intimately connected to our muscle power. So we've got a new word to learn today. It's called powerpenia. Yeah, you may have heard of osteopenia, loss of bone density, sarcopenia, loss of muscle, but now in the science, we are talking more and more about this word called powerpenia, which is the loss of muscle power, and obviously something that we have to protect against. Now here's the good news. The good news is exercise is our friend. So we've known for many, many decades that exercise is extremely productive in terms of our health. It might be the magic pill. Looking at this image on the screen, you can see it on your right-hand side. You'll notice that we've got 3 MRI images. These are scans of the thigh musculature. You'll notice the top scan is of a 40-year-old triathlete. You can see that nice full muscle. Below is a 70-year-old sedentary individual. You'll notice that there's been a loss of that muscle tissue. That dark, nice colored muscle has shrunk down. It's been infiltrated with fat. And then below it, we have a 70-year-old individual who's active. And you can see that muscle mass has been preserved. So we know that exercise is extremely beneficial. And I'm really excited here to tell you today that resistance training is really something that we should all be thinking about to maximize our health. I'll just take a second to remind you that it's not just about your muscles. Resistance training exerts many, many benefits. In addition to our bones, it's amazing for our brains. It's good for our metabolic health, our hearts, our mobility. Resistance training is truly an exercise that allows us to tap into the fountain of youth. So, you may be sitting in the audience saying to yourself, you know, I'm still not totally convinced that muscle power's for me. I think it's for the athletes. But as somebody who's spent their entire career working with athletes, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The methods we use to test athlete power in our lab after injuries like knee injuries that affect an athlete's career, we actually stole them from aging studies, believe it or not. So the very same testing methodology that they were using to examine leg power in older adults in their 80s, is what we adopted in our lab to assess athletes. So leg power is certainly more than just for the athletes. This is something that the science has known for a long time. It's for all of us. Here's another really great secret to share with you all. Right across your lifespan, even into your 90s, you maintain the ability to increase your power output. You can increase this through heavy strength training, and we can also increase it through something called power training. This has been shown in numerous studies. It's been shown to exist for male and female individuals, and it really gives us a nice bright light of hope that no matter where you are, no matter what stage you're at, there's an opportunity for us to begin the journey of increasing our muscle health. So what are you going to do now? Well, if you've never engaged in strength training before or exercise, you need to find some help. You need to find some help. And so that might start by finding a personal trainer who can teach you the proper form, help you get familiarized with a weight room or maybe training at home. A personal trainer is the individual who can probably unlock a lot of potential on your journey to better muscle health. It's also super critical to remember that muscle strength, which is a little bit different than muscle power. Muscle strength is how strong you are. Power is strength and speed. But power is also intimately connected to our overall strength. And don't forget how important strength training is for tissues like our bone. The fun thing about power training is there's lots of different ways to increase it. So power training is a little bit different than heavy strength training because what we can use are lighter weights, maybe more like 40 to 60% of your max. And we can use movements like squats and lunges and deadlifts with these lighter weights where we move them quickly to increase our power output. So power training allows us to lift fast and maybe a little bit lighter, which can also be beneficial for many individuals. Now, if I haven't convinced you that power training is something that's accessible to everybody, and if maybe you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go to a weight room, you could simply do a short sprint on a bike, and that's another way that you can increase your power output. A short 10-second sprint on a bike where you do it a few times with a little bit of rest, is actually a really good method to increase your leg power. My final message. I want you to take this with you. This is important. It's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. Doesn't matter if you're sitting there in your 70s, pondering, questioning whether you have it within you. I want to tell you it's never too late to start. Now, this individual has been popping up in my slide deck. And you know who loves to brag about their family members? Parents. I'm a father of 3 boys, I'll tell you. I love talking about my kids. But how often do you get to brag about your mom? This is my mom. This is my mom. Yeah. Yeah. And let me tell you something. So she raised me and my sister. She spent her 30s and 40s on the treadmill of life, pursued a career as a computer programmer at Carleton University, went back to university. I can remember her being at the kitchen table when we were 9 and 10 years old studying. She got a job as a computer programmer before that was even a thing. She jokes now that when she was in her 50s, the 4 o'clock snack in that space of computer programming was typically a Coke and a Snickers bar. That was the environment. And I don't think she ever could have imagined that one day she would be asking herself about what does independence look like. COVID got her. COVID was a time frame where she started to see her friends going to long-term care. She became fearful of what that could mean to her. And so she started the journey. She had type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, high blood pressure. All the cards were stacked against her. And I'm really pleased to say that she met Jeff, her personal trainer, who turned it all around. Within 24 months, she was off the high blood pressure medication. She had essentially reversed the metabolic disease, reversed it. And she came to Calgary and she said, "Honey, look at my muscles. I've got my glutes back." It's unbelievable. Now, of course, my mom doesn't know that I'm doing this here today. She was pinging me. "Can I watch?" And I said, "Sure, yeah, here's the link." So she'll probably will be watching. But Mom, I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. And so this was the text message this week as I was prepping. It went something like, I made this appointment to go in to see Jeff so many times and I canceled it because I just didn't know if I had it in me to start this journey. But I felt puny and frail after COVID. I felt like I got lost in the chair when I sat down. And I'll tell you, this has unlocked her independence. So, Jeff, if you're watching, thank you. I am so very thankful that you've given my mom back her independence. So, with that, I encourage you all to embrace the opportunity for a new beginning, to harness the power of exercise, and to remember that strength is health. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Dr. Jordan. I heard the "aw" all the way through as it was, I'm proud of you, Mom, and I'm sure a lot of us feel the same way. So thank you for sharing that story. It reminds me of another woman at my husband's gym. It's his oldest client, and she's 102. Yeah, and she does not quite chin-ups, but assisted chin-ups. I'm not kidding. There's videos of it to prove. So it's just amazing to see what you can do with strength training. And you also reminded me of Wendy Alexis. Does anyone know that name? World's fastest 70-year-old sprinter out of Ottawa. Yeah. She put down a 14.64 100-meter sprint. If you're in track, you can understand. If you're moving that fast, you're like a baby cheetah. So pretty incredible. And 70 years old.